All right, thank you all for coming. Really, really proud of our guys tonight. I thought they competed at a really high level for 40 minutes against an outstanding team. Probably the word that I would use most is toughness, and not a macho toughness. Just they competed on the glass. We were -2 in rebounding, which for us is pretty good. 18 assists, 6 turnovers, which is phenomenal. And I just thought we had a resolve. And, having a bye on Thursday, certainly I thought we took advantage of that, getting them rested early in the week. And so grateful to our crowd. I thought it was electric in here again, sold out on Monday, which is I've never seen before as long as I've coached here. And just the excitement building, not just around our program, but the whole athletic department, the university. What we're doing is really unique. Again, I'm admittedly biased, but if you watch those kids play, it's hard not to cheer for them. Their unselfishness, the way the guys off the bench embrace their role, it's just a really, really special group of guys. And I thought tonight against, Omaha, I think Markel Sutton is, as good as anybody in the conference. I think J.J. White, who went down, which was very unfortunate. I hope he's all right, but I think he's as good as any guard in the conference. And they brought in 4 or 5 transfers who really have bolstered their lineup, along with Tony Osborne returning and Jay Sean Glover, who's a Minnesota kid. And so there's a reason they've got the record they do. And I thought we improved some things from the first time that we played them, but just love the toughness of our crew and how they trust one another through, the inevitable ups and downs of a game. I thought they played with a lot of poise and composure, particularly the last 8 to 10 minutes. I thought they managed the clock really well, not holding the ball by any stretch, but just understanding time, score, situation, matchups, and I'll talk about all the players, but I'd be remiss. Drake Dobbs, to see a fifth-year kid, he took 9 shots and had 23 points tonight. And his efficiency level is off the roof, off the charts, through the roof, shooting, but his assist to turnover for the year and last year, remarkable. And tonight, again, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. So to have a guy like that who leads us and does it in a way which relatively unassuming. You watch him, and I don't think most people who watched him today would know he had 23 points. And he guards every single possession he's out there. He's probably as good technique-wise and footwork-wise and just being mentally engaged. And how far he has come the last 2 years, I think, is really a credit and testament to just how hard he's worked, and really, really inspired by that.
Johnny, a big key to this one was first half not letting Markel and JJ get going. That just seemed to really be the key to get that lead that you guys truly helped throughout the game. What was the conversation and game plan about before this game, not letting those guys get off to a fast start?
Yeah, you look at them and people talk about preseason picks, and there's a reason why I would never look at preseason projections, right? You look at this game tonight, there are 36 people who voted in that poll, and not one of them picked us first, which is fine. I'm not saying they should have. And they were picked near the bottom of the conference, and those are 2 pretty good teams. And part of that is they have guys who have been in their program and they've developed, and JJ and Markel would be 2 of them, and they brought in a bunch of transfers who have fit in beautifully, and really, I think they have some of the better role clarity in the conference. But we know that, you're not going to just stop Markel Sutton. You're really, quite honestly, you're trying to make it difficult. And by that, it's first game we played him, he was 11 for 14 from the free throw line. And, tonight he was still 7 for 8. He's going to score. He's going to impact the game. It's just, let's not give him a bunch of easy layups and dunks and free throws where then he can have 30 or 35 points. And similarly, JJ, the thing I love most about him, he's one of my favorite players we play against. I don't like coaching against him, but no matter what you do in ball screens, and they run an abundance of them, no matter what you do in ball screens, he's going to make the right read. And that you can blitz it, you can hedge it, you can play drop, you can switch it, you can ice it. It doesn't really matter. He's just going to make the right play. And so I thought our guys were really focused on, those 2 guys make it difficult, but we're not going to shut them out. That's not. It's more knowing how do we help one another. And I thought our shell defensively was better tonight, certainly than it was against them the first time.
You actually out-rebounded them in the first half. What was the key to making that change from last game?
Well, it's not, we have, if you break basketball down, I think you can do it in 9 words. It's a little, but get the ball, keep the ball, score the ball. If you just forget about everything else, if you don't know our plays, and so some of it is get the ball. And you have to care about that. And we know we don't have a guy who's going to get a dozen rebounds a game. So tonight, our leading rebounder had 4 rebounds, right? But we had all 9 guys who played had rebounds. And I think we've seen that. Guys like Kendall and Miles and Drake over the last several weeks have really, really stepped up their rebounding. So we talk about a lot, just collective rebounding, that all 5 guys have a responsibility. And as much as we want to get out and run, we don't get out and run if we don't secure rebounds. And so I think our guys have been really receptive to coaching. I mean, they listen and they're smart, and you show them film and it's like, hey, we need to be better at it, and we know it's not easy. I mean, we are, height-wise, we're small. Weight-wise, we're not that big, but like I said before, toughness-wise, I don't know that any team has a bigger heart than our guys do, and I think they have embraced that we have to be better at rebounding, but it's not anything special we're coaching them on. We're just, certain things you teach, some you emphasize, some you demand, and this would be one that we've been emphasizing a lot.
Anything has happened on your way to not making the NCAA tournament, you're alone in first place in the league?
What's the question? I don't understand, I'm sorry.
I said, the funny thing has happened on your way to not making the NCAA tournament this late in the season, you're alone in first place.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't look at the standings very much. It's nice that we're in first place, but we look at this is an unbelievable opportunity, and you start thinking about things you can't control, like outcomes of other games or what comes next or who's eligible for the postseason. I think our focus is not, that would not be a good spot to put our focus. And I think we have really good veterans who understand what are the things we control. You get 31 games a year, and how do we embrace every one of those? And we knew when we made this jump what the NCAA, what their rules were. And so honestly, we don't talk about it much because we can't change that. And so we just embrace every opportunity. We talk about 31 Super Bowls and then the Summit League tournament. We're fortunate to play in that. And at the end of the day, that I think our guys, we talk about competitive joy all the time, like go have fun and make plays and love playing with one another. And the other stuff, we don't control, so we don't talk about it.
It's not a bad place to be, though.
No, being in first place is nice. But honestly, we won't talk about that. I mean, we'll talk about South Dakota. We'll talk a lot about that. These guys. Sports. I think this is where it can be a microcosm of life. That guys learn lessons about, if you put in the work across the hall in the weight room and in the classroom, on the court. Phil talks all the time about comprehensive excellence, and if you think about that, competition, classroom, community, character, just work your butt off in those 4 things. You don't have to be perfect, but you're probably going to end up with a pretty good outcome. And I think it's the same thing here is at the end of the season, we'll look at that. And I just told the guys that. Somebody pointed out we had 20 wins, and I forgot to congratulate them on that because that's a huge accomplishment in college basketball. But again, you don't go into a season saying, let's get to 20, because what if you get to 20? I sure hope we'd like to get to 21 at some point too. So these guys are really, we have a lot of veterans, and they're really mature. They understand, focus on the stuff that is in front of us and savor every day. You look at, we got 3 guys who this is their last year of college basketball. So, if we're talking about the tournament, well, they can't go to the tournament. They know that, but they love playing together, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
Johnny, the first matchup, they seem to be able to guard the perimeter well and take away your backdoor cuts, really sink back in to deny a lot. But tonight just seemed like you had their number, getting out on the attack. What did you guys see differently this time around to not get as stagnant offensively? I thought the first game we actually played really well. I think we were 20 of 30 on twos that game, 67%. We were only 9 of 29 on threes. And tonight, I think we were 15 of 26 on twos, so just under 60%, but we were 13 of 29 on threes. So it's not all about shooting, but it is, there is an element, the way we play. When we shoot it really, really well, you're going to see some explosive offensive nights. So I actually loved how we played on offense there the first night, or the first time we played them. I thought we got really good looks from 3. We didn't make them. We got good looks from 2. I thought they carved us up a little bit when they had the ball, and they beat us up on the glass. So those were probably more of the points of emphasis. We don't talk about shooting much. Like Miles tonight, I said in the locker room afterwards how proud I was of him because he was 1 for 6 in the first half on threes, and they were awesome shots. They were the right shots. He didn't get flustered. I thought he played great defense. He had 0 turnovers for the night, and he ends up with 17 points. So that, to me, the guys, I don't want to say they don't care if shots go in. They do, but there's a maturity to you just take the right shots, and
I don't know, I don't play roulette, but if you play roulette, my hunch is you can't think you're controlling the little ball and whether it's going to black or red, and that's kind of like shooting threes. The first year we were here, Phil asked me after watching us play, he's like, so what happens if we shoot poorly on threes some nights? I'm like, well, we're probably going to lose, but if we don't shoot a lot of threes, we're really going to lose. And so I think where we've gotten better, if you look, and he and I joke about that a lot, year one we had to shoot threes. Now if you look at it, I think we're in the top 10, I think, in the country in 3-point percentage and 2-point percentage, which is really remarkable. It's easy to look at our guys and say, all they do is jack threes, and we shoot a lot of threes, but they work every single day, and Coach Maker does such an unbelievable job with our offense at getting to the basket and then making decisions. So it's how do we get layups, how do we get to the free throw line, how do we spray for threes, and when we do that, that's when our offense really goes. When we just jack threes, it's, that's not good.
Coach, how did it feel to have all the alumni out to watch that game?
Yeah, what a night. I mean, we were in here before the game and it was packed, and I don't know if there was 50 or 100. I mean, there were guys who played back as far as I think mid-60s, so 60 years ago. Probably a dozen of my teammates were there, guys that I've coached over the last 25 years, guys that I grew up playing, and so it's one of the special things about this program when you look at kind of the way they built it, and obviously our journey from D3 to D1 is unique, but the pride that those guys have, I think, in the way these guys play. Coach Fritz was here. I mean, you look at how we play now versus how we played for the last 40 years, and there's some stylistic differences, but I think the core values haven't changed. No different than when we talked about our school going D3 to D1. Doesn't mean we're going to have different student athletes. They're going to care a lot about school and a lot about basketball. So we have a lot of alums who come to our games regularly, but tonight was certainly an unbelievable tribute, and I don't want our guys to feel more pressure playing in front of them, but it was, for me to see all those guys there, it's kind of makes me feel a little bit old, but it's really, I think, a tribute to this school too, because why do they want to come back here? It's not just basketball, it's the formative years of life, 18 to 22 or 23, it's a special time, and I think we were joking before about a loss in 1990. I was in high school watching these guys play, and all of a sudden they booed me in the same room because I brought something up. 35 years later, they remember a double overtime loss in a different gym than this one, but that's what's so cool about what these guys get to experience together, the ups and downs of sports, and developing those kind of friendships that, with the transfer portal, I'll be honest, it's one of the things that I think is truly special about our program, that these guys understand they have something pretty cool here, and we've had 2 guys transfer in the last 2 years out of 23, so over 90% of our undergrads who had eligibility left have returned, and so that doesn't happen many places, and I think that's a testament to everything that's going on here at St. Thomas.
The Bennies and Doof, once again, huge off the bench, both offensively and defensively. Just speak to, again, just the energy that they brought tonight and impacting this game in many ways.
Yeah, the Bennies and Doof, it's like a sitcom. And some of it, Drake, he just played one of the best games of his career, and you watch him come out, though, and it's like you're going to the gas station and you're charging your car or you're filling it up with, Drake gives Doof a big hug. Doof comes in and he does what he does, which is hard to describe, but he's like a bowling ball out there and he just causes chaos, and then Benny's sprinting around like crazy, and Miles is high-fiving him when he comes in, and Usti comes in, whether it's at the power forward or the center, and he's just going to make stuff happen. So those 3 guys, they do a lot of things. When you look at their stats, they're really effective and efficient, but I do think there's also just a war of attrition. The stuff they do and the way they sacrifice their body, it allows these guys to get a rest, and they just make a lot of energy plays that, when you think about what gets the crowd going, everybody talks about 3-point shots and dunks and all that, but those hustle plays on defense, that to me is what really epitomizes this team. And having veterans like that embrace their role, where would they like to be starting? Sure, but they do what the team asks them to do, and that to me is what's contagious, because the starters know they're going to do their job, the reserves come in for them, and the young guys who aren't playing as much, and someday they're going to be, but they're watching the Bennies and the Doof and Rich, and they're like, okay, these guys embrace their role, and the best teams have guys that say, this is what the team needs, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and we're very fortunate to have, I think, 16 guys on our team who all embrace their role, and that, I'll finish with this, we complimented our scout team in the locker room, one of the first things we talked about, I thought all week they did just a phenomenal job of simulating, here's what Omaha's going to try to do, and here's what Markel Sutton, where he's going to get the ball, and here's where J.J. White's going to get the ball. And, those guys, they are a huge part of not just tonight, but all of our success, because every single day they're at all the weightlifting sessions, and they know they're not going to play a ton of minutes in the games, yet every single day they're there doing it because they want to help the team.
Drake, did this game feel different at all, knowing what was at stake?
A little bit. We got a little bit of media attention going into the game, but honestly, it didn't feel different for me. Just the season's not over yet, so obviously it's a big game for standing purposes, but it's a cliche, statement to make, but you take it game by game, and that's what my mindset was going into this game, and I just wanted to get these guys back, from the first time. So,
Fellas, it just seems like in these huge, bigger games, I guess you could say, more marquee games, two of you, it doesn't matter how many shots you take, it doesn't matter how you're shooting. It seems like the two of you in particular in these games always come up with the clutch shots. And again tonight, huge, that dagger three off that sideline on bounce play. Miles, you were just all over the place. Just talk about what you saw out there making those big plays.
yeah, just, I think we try to do whatever the team needs, and sometimes it's scoring, sometimes it's making an extra pass, maybe getting a big rebound, getting a steal, things like that. Just, the effort plays. But, it can be really anyone's night, 1 through 9, and that's what's so good about our culture is we don't really care who scores or who makes the big play. We're happy. We're genuinely happy for each other, and that's what makes us special, I think.
Yeah, I'd say it's just like a trust thing. Like, our teammates trust us as much as we trust them. Like, I trust anybody on our roster to go take the last shot. Honestly, if they have their shot and they're gonna take it, I'm completely fine with that. Like, it doesn't matter who takes it. I just have trust in them.
For either one of you guys, just your thoughts now as you sit here in first place, what that means to you.
Yeah, it's important for sure, and we still got work to do, so we can't get stagnant and get big inflated heads thinking that the season's over yet. So it's good news for us, and it's where we want to be, but I think we're not done yet, so we still got a lot of work to do.
Significant to reach the 20 victory?
So, what'd you say?
I said it's significant to reach the 20 wins?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good milestone, and it's awesome that we hit 20 again, but we still got bigger fish to fry, and the season's not over yet, so we still got a lot of work to do.
Home court advantage in the last 3 years, I think you guys are now 36-4 here at Chanticleer. Just in the short time frame of this D1 transition, could you have ever imagined of, it's really this place and out in Brookings that are probably the two toughest places to play in this league, and the thought that you guys have established that in just a short time of D1, just talk about that, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. The fans are amazing here. Like, it's such a difference from, especially like where I came from, like at Whitewater. Like, the fans here love us. Like, it's so cool to play in games like this. Like, I didn't get this much at all when I was at Whitewater, so being able to see the support from the fans makes everything so much better, and it's fun for everybody. Everybody here, it's just fun, so it's cool to be in these games.
Yeah, just, to echo Miles, I love playing in this kind of environment, and obviously playing at SDSU it's always a challenge for sure. They have a great environment, super loyal fans, and I think we got the same thing here. It's just our fans feed off our energy plays, and our culture is awesome, and once it gets loud in there, you can feel it for sure, and it just it helps us keep playing super hard, and keeps things keep spiraling out there. So,
Miles, someone who doesn't follow the team super closely might say, "Oh wow, Drake had 23." Like, they might be surprised by that. But as someone who plays with them every day, is that as much of a surprise to you?
No, not at all. Definitely not. Drake's such a good player. Like, he really just lets the game come to him. Like, if you've been watching, like, Drake just knows what he's doing out there. Like, everybody's got trust in him when we're out there, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, you look at the past few games, like, he's been playing great. He's been playing amazing. It's great to see.
appreciate you.
Great, is that one of the things about this team, that you can almost spin a wheel and any night, any one person can lead the team in scoring?
Yeah, for sure. We try to feed the hot hand, and see what mismatches we can get, and it can really be anyone 1 through 9. So that's what makes us special. And like JT mentioned earlier, our scout team and guys did an incredible job this week. I thought we had a different level of focus coming into this game, for sure. So it made us a lot better. And guys, even 1 through 16, we're deep. So those dudes, kudos to them. They did a great job this week, and everyone had a different kind of focus coming into this game. So it showed out there.
Have either of you ever played with someone who's the biggest smile on their face when they're playing as Ben now?
I personally haven't, no. I don't think I have. He's such a character. I love playing with guys like that.
I'm not quite sure I have. Benny's one of my best friends for sure, so I love seeing him out there. He brings a ton of energy. It's contagious, but I don't know if I've quite played with someone like him, and that's not a bad thing to say. He brings so much energy and shooting. He's not just a shooter, getting into the paint, playing good defense, and he's one of our vets, so he knows what he's doing out there. But I love that guy. I love playing with him.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Sure.